One of the traits of a powerhouse leader is personal responsibility. And this idea of personal responsibility is not about being the blame or taking the blame. It's not about feeling guilt for something that had happened or should have happened or didn't happen. And it's also not about finding yourself in that position of regret. When you come from a place of being a leader and a powerhouse leader, that personal responsibility is a place of holding a position in space that allows you to make the kind of decisions that need to be made for your entire company, for your team, for your bottom line. So we're going to talk more about that in today's video. Hi, I'm Stephana Johnson. I'm the founder of Powerhouse Leaders, and I am excited to share with you some golden nuggets that I've learned as leading my own business, as well as helping numerous businesses from major corporations to celebrities and politicians, really influencing and making a huge impact on countless people's lives. And so one of the things that I'm talking about today is personal responsibility. It happens to be the first principle, the first trait of a powerhouse leader is in our principles of a powerhouse leader. And this often gets misconstrued. If we talk about personal responsibility, some take it as taking it as blame. And I want to remove that completely from this idea that personal responsibility has anything to do with blame or guilt or feeling regret or feelings of that inadequacy of that they are in somehow responsible. I think that's one of the things that really hangs people up from stepping fully into a really competent leadership role and being an exceptional leader. When they get stuck in that idea and that fear of, well, I don't want to be wrong, I don't want to, there's fear of that failure type of thing. And we know as we improve as leaders, and as I've worked with countless organizations going into the business, when an organization has leaders that are pointing the finger at the management team, or the board is pointing the finger at the CEO or the C-suite or the leadership executive team, then I can see where no one's really taking the personal responsibility that needs to be taken. So then we have to step back and find who is the one that is going to lead this ship. So when we're talking, you're going to have to look at that for yourself as where that is and where that fits in within your company, your organization, your business. Whether you're running yourself and your business or you're running thousands of employees, at some point, as the leader, personal responsibility must be taken from this really powerhouse place. So let's look at that, and not using powerhouse as a jargon here. This trait of taking personal responsibility is very common in the higher levels of understanding what personal responsibility is. Taking this idea that you are, let's use the analogy of you're leading a caravan. So if you're the driver of the first car in that caravan, then in that responsibility, you are leading the entire rest of the group, right? The caravan. And so you've got to know where you're going. You've got to have clarity as to where you're going, or you're going to lead everyone all over the map, right? We're going to see this idea where there's just chaos. And that's one key point, is having that clarity of where you're going. You may not know exactly how to get there because you don't know the terrain that you're going to hit up against when you go, and that's okay. But if you continue to take that personal responsibility, when you do hit up against those obstacles, when you do hit up against roadblocks that are on your path, you are the first one to look at it in a way that actually allows for you to get solutions that help the whole organization, that help the whole caravan. And I think that that's really the takeaway that I want you to get here, is that taking personal responsibility, yes, you are responsible. You could be responsible for a multi-billion-dollar corporation and thousands of employees. And that can really add a lot of stress to the leader and to their, and especially when they're being pulled in different directions from a board and from the different components and pieces. And so I really like to make sure that there is congruency across that the executive leadership team, so that bridges to the management team. If there's confusion then we're going to run into other problems. But if we get that leader taking the personal responsibility from a really clean place, when I say clean, I mean we're letting go of the make wrong and the pointing the fingers and the critical jabs that leaders sometimes can get into of wanting to pass the buck or point the finger or fault finding. Instead, it doesn't matter whose fault it is. It doesn't matter who's right or wrong. You're just going to do what's right for the organization, for your company. And that's the takeaway that I want you to get from today, as personal responsibility being a key trait to powerhouse leaders. You can do this, and you can do it in a way that's very healthy, not only for the organization, but for you. And that end result should look like expansion for the company, better impact, bigger, more positive impact on your team, on your employees, on your company, on your bottom line. And the results and the success that happen as a result of that is it's exponential. That's what we want to look at, rather than contracting from some decision you've made. And even when you make a decision that may not have been the most optimal decision in hindsight, then you still have the ability to look at that and understand, and from that place, taking that personal responsibility, know that that's something that you can learn from, something that you can pivot with, something that you can use to improve going forward. And so these are the takeaways for today. I hope that helps. Please comment below, and be sure, if you haven't subscribed to the Monday morning mentoring, that you do, so that you can get the golden nugget of the week. And then I will see you in our next video.